Good morning, Birmingham Unitarian Church.
Good morning.
Welcome to all, whether you're visiting us for the first time or have been here many times before. Whether you're joining us here in the sanctuary, remotely via Zoom, or watching this recording later, it's good to connect with you. Today, children will be with us in the sanctuary throughout our worship for all ages, as we explore paying attention as a spiritual practice. Care is also available in our nursery on the lower level for infants and children through age 5. By greeting our virtual neighbors, we build a bridge between online and in-person participants. First, we'll project on our screen the image of folks who are currently with us on Zoom, and if you're comfortable doing so, please turn on your camera and give us a wave. Now, we who are gathered in the sanctuary are invited to turn and face the camera in the back and give the folks on Zoom a wave. Coffee and conversation will follow the service in Hodis Hall, which is located to the left after you exit the sanctuary. Our newcomer table is a place where visitors and newcomers can meet and chat with members of the congregation and with each other. All are encouraged to drop by, just look for the colorful sign. And today is our monthly community birthday celebration. So if your birthday is in March, please join us at the podium for a celebration. And virtual coffee hour will also take place on Zoom after the service. Whenever, however, and wherever we connect with BUC, we are building this beloved community.
With this chalice, may we kindle the flame of our attention, not too fiery or wild, spreading without cause or care, not too dim or fading, unfocused and ineffective, but like a cheerful cook fire in a cozy hearth, like a comforting candle, flickering yet steady. May our attention be befriended, directed, and sustained. for the betterment of all humankind. Join us for our hymn on page 112.
In a world ravaged by violence, by hatred, by conflicts that seem eternal and insoluble, sometimes the only thing we can do is be still for a moment to remind ourselves what is real. The sun that rose this morning, the dirt under our feet, the air whispering in and out of our lungs. This hour, just try to be present in each moment as it unfolds. Your simple attention is what makes these moments holy.
Our story today is another wonderful book by Kobe Yamada. This one is called Noticing. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? It seemed as if someone was talking to me. It's okay, I guess, I replied. Just okay? A woman sitting nearby responded. Why, we have the birds, the trees, the sky, the questions, the what ifs, and why nots. I'd say it is indeed an exceptional day to be alive, don't you think? If you say so, I shrugged. It seemed like an ordinary day to me. Are you a painter? I asked. I like to think of myself as more of a noticer, really, she answered. I just try to make things from what I see. It's my way of appreciating and honoring them. As I looked at her canvas, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. How could someone create something so amazing, I wondered. She was definitely a painter. She looked over at me and asked, when you look up, what do you see? Clouds? You see clouds. That's all? Just clouds? The painter asked, astonished. I think so, I said, uncertain as I scanned the sky. Why? What do you see? Oh, so much, she said excitedly. It's like the whole sky is tempting me to be amazed. I see wild horses running free and upside down castles. I see whales flying like songbirds and a dragon breathing fire. But it's not only that. I'm filled with butterflies of excitement. It feels like an adventure is unfolding, and I don't want to miss any of it. I stared up, wanting to see what she saw. The more you pause and allow for the extraordinary, the painter explained, the more you find it. And often what we see depends on what we look for. Take this mountain, for instance, she gestured to the horizon. A climber might see a great challenge. A scientist might see the movement of an ancient glacier. And someone else might notice the cool breeze traveling down from its snowy peaks. Though we all may look at the same thing, we don't always see it the same way. That's true for mountains and also for people. When we look at others, we may see their faces or their clothes, she continued, but we are only seeing a tiny piece of who they really are. We often don't notice the important things like their capacity for love, what they hope for, what they dream of, or what they can become. We often miss the most beautiful parts of them. I wondered what I wasn't noticing. I wondered what I was missing. What do you see in you? Asked the painter. I looked down at my hands, my clothes, my shoes that were a size too big so I could grow into them. Just a kid like any other kid, I suppose. But you're not like anyone else. In fact, there isn't another person exactly like you anywhere, the painter encouraged. And the amazing thing is, there never has been, and there never will be ever again. I'm not sure there's anything all that special about me, I said. Oh, but everything is special about you. There really isn't a single thing about you that isn't extraordinary, she shared enthusiastically. You are the rare and unique combination of what was the bright possibility of what can be. And you know what? So is everyone else. Everyone shines and needs to be seen. Everyone wants to know that they matter and there is a place for them and that they are needed. Sure, some may hide their brilliance, but the light is there, always flickering, and it is a beautiful thing when we can reflect it back to them. I always looked forward to my visits with the painter. I had to admit, as much as I couldn't wait to see her, I also couldn't wait to see what she saw. On one occasion, I went to go find her, and she was sitting peacefully with her eyes shut. "What are you doing?" I asked shyly, not wanting to interrupt her. "Hello, you," she smiled and waved me over. "Some days I find that I can notice even more when I close my eyes," she explained. The gentle rustling of my hair, the ideas dancing in my head, the sunshine on my face, and the wonder of being alive. She invited me to close my eyes. What does home look like to you? What does kindness feel like? What does love look like? The painter asked. What does it feel like to have a friend? What does it look like to be one? One of the most important ways we see is with our imagination. So many significant things cannot be seen with your eyes, but they are very real. And it is vital that you look for and believe in them. I was filled with a feeling of calm and appreciation. It was moving and wonderful. I sat there with my eyes closed, picturing the people and places and things that meant so much to me in my life. One of the best things you can be is interested, the painter shared. When you are interested, you're curious. And when you're curious, you discover things, amazing things about yourself and about the world. The miraculous is everywhere and in everything, waiting for us to notice it, waiting for us to appreciate it, waiting for us to love it. It's been years since that day when I first met the painter, and I miss her. I wish she were still here so I could tell her what she's meant to me and how she helped me look at everything differently. But mostly, what I wish I could say is thank you for seeing me.
Good morning. My name is Soren Anderson. I'm a member of the Stewardship Committee, and I want to give you a weekly update of our progress so far. As of Friday, we have 78 pledges amounting to $276,013. That is 51% and a little shade more of our goal of $540,000. We are on the way, but remember, this is a short period of time that we ask for your pledges, and the time is coming when we would like to have all of the pledges in. We don't have that yet. Last week I had suggested March 13th. Actually, in order to make our recording a little bit more accurate, I'd like to have all of the pledges in, if possible, by Thursday the 12th. For any of you, those of you who are the least bit uncomfortable with doing your pledges electronically or online, I want to remind you that we do have hard copy forms available in the pavilion, and you can fill them out during the coffee hour. And I know that those who have not yet pledged are receiving regular emails to remind them of the obligation to pledge. I also want to let you know that the Stewardship Committee is starting to make its follow-up calls. Polite but persistent goon squad. So I look forward to continued success in bringing in the pledges. Remember, that's all we're asking for at this time, not money. We're just asking for a commitment of money in the future. One of my great joys in coming to this church is the joyful sounds that we hear, the beautiful music, the stirring stories, excellent sermons, and the sound of children. It is particularly wonderful for me when I go to the coffee hour afterwards to hear that joyful noise. It just shows that we are a vital church, and that we are fortunate that we attract younger families and their children to join us in fellowship. And one of those that I've had the chance to know pretty well, because he's also in the bass section, actually kind of leading the bass section, I might add, is Jimmy Vogel. And I know that you are familiar with him because he's also an associate, a pastoral associate, and that he's worked on he's worked on, what committee is it? Building and Grounds. Building and Grounds. So very, very active. But this is just for me a wonderful time to see how our congregation is continuing to grow, and particularly by attracting younger families. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce Jimmy and Monica Vogel.
Good morning. So, where to start? We we made our way here. There's a long journey, but I will be brief. So I actually am a lifelong UU. I grew up in the church just across the way in Troy. So Emerson at the time, and now it's Beacon. So that would be thanks to my parents who are here today. And that was, my childhood and stuck with me. And so once I met Jimmy, he can say his story.
Yeah, I did not grow up in a religious family, but, we both met at U of M, and I think Monica first mentioned UUism to me there, which it was new to me, other than the Unitarian jokes on Prairie Home Companion. I remember that. But we were on the way to band rehearsal when we met, so we're both musicians, amateur musicians. But we ended up moving to Massachusetts after we graduated, and
Yeah, my mom being, my parents being UUs as well, she said, well, you picked an apartment building that is maybe a 2-minute walk from the local UU church, so you might as well go and check it out. So over in Massachusetts, we visited the church and got involved and met a lot of great folks out there. So if anyone knows Franklin Unitarian out in Massachusetts, that's where we were. And, okay. Just making sure we stick to our notes. So anyway, we moved back to Michigan in 2021, and right in the middle of COVID. So found a house and kind of took a break from church a little bit. I guess we were doing too many house projects.
yeah, we were just seeing what else we could get involved in, doing some music things and that sort of thing. But, we did feel that after a while there was something sort of missing, a certain type of community, I mean, so we knew of BUC, of course, and it's about a 5-minute drive from our house. So we were like, okay, should probably head on over to BUC.
Yep.
And, as soon as we got here, we found this community, lovely, welcoming people, and, we started to get involved. We love music, so I joined the choir, and, then we started on various committees and things. Monica started with the Pastoral Care Associates, and I started with the Worship Associates and Buildings and Grounds. But, it wasn't too long before we decided, well, we should become members.
Yeah, and and we enjoyed playing with the Sound Messengers. I would say that, and John, we've played with you before, so just love getting involved in the music. And I was gonna say I did convert Jimmy, I guess, to Unitarian Universalism. I'm sorry, or not sorry. But yeah, so also we should introduce our lovely daughter here. Her name is Avery, and she was born December of last year on the solstice. So we'll have to celebrate that with her every year. And but yeah, we wanted to just support this community, and obviously all the things that she will enjoy in the future. As well as the music and all of the committees that we're on. So
Yeah, when we got here, it was clear this would be a good place to, start growing our family. And she was born not too long after that. And looking forward to her getting involved in the youth program here. Such a great group of people working on that.
Yeah.
And, hanging out with all the other families like us. So this is why we pledge our financial support. It's to help keep this community growing. We're keeping invested. We want it to thrive. We want to have the money for keeping this music going and everything else that the church does and everything that the church is. So.
Yeah, maybe she'll pick up saxophone like me and play in a service. But yeah, we appreciate the community here and want to see it supported. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
The mission of Birmingham Unitarian Church is to be a free and welcoming religious community that encourages lives of integrity, learning, service, and joy. One way we live out this mission is by giving half of our weekly offering to nonprofit organization that shares our values and addresses needs in the community. To suggest a nonprofit for this donation, please check the BUC website under Justice to find the application form. Our recipient for March is the Michigan Unitarian Universalist Social Justice Network. Mary Jo Ebert is the director, and she'll tell us about the work of Mushkin in a moment.
Good morning, everyone. How many of you have heard of Mushkin before? Oh, good, good. And still some newbies who can, I'm happy to share with today of what exactly we are. So we are a statewide network of UU congregations and fellowships, other faith communities and partners who collaborate and work together on social justice. BUC is a member of the network, as are some of you individually. Thank you for that. I'll illustrate what we do by sharing some recent examples of our work. Of course, rights and due process for immigrants is of prominent concern at this time. Over the last couple of weeks, I've given public comment at the Oakland County Commission meetings, in which I've positioned it as a moral and civic crisis. Human beings are not objects to be rounded up and warehoused. I called for their bold action and bold creativity to find solutions that keep families together and ensure due process, to meet the moment with moral clarity. When I introduced myself and said that I was from Mushkin, there were quite a few people that were waiting to speak, and they cheered. People know who we are, or they were just glad that there was a religious-based organization there speaking. Related to this past Wednesday, we held our monthly Calling and Connection meetup on Zoom. We had at least 14 congregations represented among those who were registered. This is statewide. We gave an update on recent happenings regarding ICE, including plans to create another detention center, this one in Romulus. During the call, participants called their state senators in Lansing, asking them for solutions similar to what we had talked about at the county commission. And we're making connections through that forum. A member of the UU congregation in Traverse City is going to follow up with someone from the Harbor UU Fellowship in Muskegon, who were together in a breakout, and something came up that they want to follow up on and share information, share ideas. A person from the Midland Fellowship asked for examples of some of the county resolutions that have been put forward, some of them passed, because they want to do the same thing in their area. This, of course, is a big election year. Mushkin is part of a collaborative of over 50 nonprofits brought together by Michigan Voices. We're strategizing to support the right to vote and raise awareness and opposition to voter suppression efforts. This is about the democratic process, equity, and the ability for all eligible voters to participate without fear or hindrance. Our legislative committee has created an overview of ballot proposals, which are also a prominent topic this year. Mushkin was started 23 years ago to create synergy in the work that congregations were doing individually on a range of issues such as reproductive care and justice, environmental justice, economic, racial, and LGBTQ+ justice, voting rights, and others. In keeping with today's theme, I would say that we do some of the paying attention centrally and share the information so that everyone doesn't have to do all that research on their own and figure out for themselves what to do. So from the Keweenaw Peninsula to Portage to Ann Arbor and Detroit, we aim to leverage resources to assist our congregation's social justice efforts to do the greatest good for people of Michigan and beyond. Justice doesn't happen on its own, and it does require some budget to do this work. When I'm out talking with congregations like all of you today, I acknowledge the fact that there are a lot of good organizations that need funding, right? A lot of organizations doing good work. So as we're considering how to allocate our own resources toward doing the greatest good, here's what I suggest. First, fund your church. We need beacons of light, such as this, where people can gather in community and talk through the issues of the day. We're waging war on a country. How do we process that in terms of our values and our principles? And then fund your justice organization, Mushjin. We pledge to put any of your contributions to good use in this work. And I also invite you to come see me during coffee hour. I'll have a table and we can chat a little more about the good trouble we can get up to together. Thank you.
And now for a moment of mindfulness. And perhaps an answer to the question, why do I have this box of raisins? So I invite you to join in a brief mindfulness exercise as we explore a single raisin. This exercise was developed by John Kabat-Zinn, a student of the renowned Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh. It encourages us to slow down and notice fully, with all of our senses, something ordinary in a way that is extraordinary. John Kabat-Zinn adapted many of Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings on mindful awareness into accessible practices for everyday life. In fact, Thich Nhat Hanh's famous tangerine meditation likely inspired this exercise. But we've chosen raisins today because they're a little easier to handle and don't require peeling. So even if you choose not to eat it, or maybe you didn't grab a box, but someone next to you might have theirs, you can still participate by going through this exercise with your senses, imagining the raisin, or maybe something else, as vividly as you can. As we begin, notice that this exercise invites you again to slow down, to be fully present, and to experience something ordinary in an extraordinary way. So, I would invite you to notice every detail and wait for my direction before you move on. So, to begin, grab your one raisin. Take the raisin and hold it in the palm of your hand or between your finger and thumb. And just look at it. Focus on it. Imagine that you've just dropped in from Mars and have never seen an object like this before, ever in your life. Take the time to really see it, to examine it. Gaze at this raisin with care and full attention. Let your eyes explore every part of it, examining the highlights where the light shines, the darker hollows, the folds and ridges, and any asymmetries or unique features. Now turn the raisin over between your fingers. Explore the texture, or perhaps even do so with your eyes closed. See if that enhances your sense of touch. Take the raisin and hold it beneath your nose. With each inhalation, drink in any smell, aroma, or fragrance that may arise. Noticing as you do anything interesting that may be happening in your stomach or in your mouth. Now, slowly bring the raisin to your lips. Notice how your hand and arm know exactly where to position it. Gently place the object in your mouth without chewing. Notice how it gets into the mouth in the first place. Spend a few moments exploring the sensations of having it in your mouth. When you are ready, prepare to chew the raisin, noticing how and where it needs to be for chewing. Then, very consciously, take 1 or 2 bites into it and notice what happens in the aftermath, experiencing any waves of taste that emanate from it as you continue chewing. Without swallowing yet, notice the bare sensations of taste and texture in the mouth and how these may change over time, moment by moment, as well as any changes to the object itself. When you feel ready to swallow the raisin, see if you can first detect the intention to swallow as it comes up, so that even this is experienced consciously before you actually swallow the raisin. Finally, see if you can feel what is left of the raisin moving down into your stomach, and sense how the body as a whole is feeling after completing this exercise in mindful eating.
Swallow the rest of the raisin residue. This meditation is by Howard Thurman, who was minister of the Interdenominational Interracial Church for the Fellowship of All People in San Francisco. Give me the listening ear. I seek this day the ear that will not shrink from the word that corrects and admonishes, the word that holds up before me the image of myself that causes me to pause and reconsider, the word that challenges me to deeper consecration and higher resolve, the word that lays bare needs that make my own days uneasy, that seizes upon every good, decent impulse of my nature, channeling it into paths of healing in the lives of others. Give me the listening ear. I seek this day the disciplined mind, the disciplined heart, the disciplined life that makes my ear the focus of attention through which I may become mindful of expressions of life foreign to my own. I seek the stimulation that lifts me out of old ruts and established habits which keep me conscious of myself, my needs, my personal interests. Give me this day the eye that is willing to see the meaning of the ordinary, the familiar, the commonplace, the eye that is willing to see my own faults for what they are, the eye that is willing to see the likable qualities in those I may not like, the mistake in what I thought was correct, the strength in what I had labeled as weakness. Give me the eye that is willing to see that there is a witness in every living thing, thus to walk with reverence and sensitiveness through all the days of my life. Give me the listening ear, the eye that is willing to see. We hold each other in our hearts and minds with all our joys and all our sorrows. The joys and sorrows of the congregation that are shared with us this morning are these. From Mike Mansour, he says, I'm so disturbed by the war in Iran, and he asks, what can we do? Ed Sharples has been hospitalized again and is fighting an infection. A scan and other appointments are coming up. He's not seeing visitors right now, and the best way to send your good wishes is with a card. And I think we'll have one of those during coffee hour. We remember those experiencing losses and those facing health challenges. We pray in whatever way we pray for all those affected by war, by hatred and violence. We pray for peace. The cares of the world are many. Even when the cares of the world weigh on us, may we find joy in our connections with each other and in the pleasures that life holds. Let us take care of one another and ourselves in all the ways we can. And let us make this a safe and welcoming place for all. As we hold each other in our hearts and minds with all our joys and all our sorrows, whether spoken or unspoken, let's take a moment to be quiet together. Please join in singing Calm Soul of All Things, hymn number 88.
There's a question I've been trying to ask myself more often lately. What am I paying attention to? Not what do I care about, not what do I believe, but what is actually receiving my attention. my minutes, my glances, my energy. Because attention is a kind of currency, and we spend it all day long. Many of us wake up, and before our feet even hit the floor, we reach for our phones and enter the realm of social media. We scroll headlines, we skim updates, we check to see who liked what, who said what, just trying to catch up on what happened overnight. The world rushes in before we've even taken a breath. Social media isn't all bad, though. It connects us. It helps us find community. It keeps us informed. Some of us have even found real belonging there. There is joy there. There is solidarity there. But at the same time, there's also something subtle that happens. When our attention is constantly pulled outward to the next post, the next outrage, the next notification, we begin to live slightly above our own lives. Now we witness everything. We react to everything. We carry all of that on our hearts and minds. And often because of this, we don't always inhabit the moment we're in physically. And I say we because I am absolutely included in this. I'm a millennial. I grew up alongside the rise of the internet and social media and smartphones. I watched and participated in a radical shift in how humans connect. I remember life before smartphones, and I remember how quickly they reshaped everything: friendships, dating, activism, even boredom. What happened on front porches and over landlines began happening in instant messages and online profiles. America Online gave way to MySpace, which became Facebook. YouTube, Instagram, and Vine paved the way for short-form content and algorithms tailored to our interests. Twitch and Discord created whole communities that exist almost entirely online. Connection most certainly didn't disappear. It transformed. And while that transformation has brought real good into the world, constantly living in a virtual space can leave us ungrounded. There's something irreplaceable about sharing the same physical space with another human being. Making that conscious effort to gather together with humans is probably what led many of you to be here today. Some people aren't plugged into social media at all, and to that I say more power to you. Because I'll be honest, I struggle to disconnect completely. I'm not the most active poster, but I consume a lot of content. I, as they say, doom scroll. I absorb countless amounts of headlines and commentary and carefully curated lives. I also connect with friends and family, sharing memories, and catching up what's going on in their lives. I connect with colleagues to exchange knowledge and gain wisdom. At one point, it seemed as though my career path would lead me to content creation. But keeping up with all of the things that are involved was what seemed exhausting and something that just wasn't for me. So I sometimes wonder now what my obligation is as a social media user. What should I be doing, saying, posting, contributing? As I try to pull back my attention on the virtual space, I feel that familiar tug of FOMO, the fear of missing out. And as I continue to ask myself, what am I paying attention to? I find my desire to unplug growing. So there are people who practice unplugging by bricking their phone. They consciously make that effort to be held accountable and limit the access to social media and perhaps other distracting apps. A good way to start unplugging is to participate in the Global Day of Unplugging, which happens to be this Friday. So how can you observe the Global Day of Unplugging? Well, there are lots of ways that you can do that without the use of smartphones, computers, personal assistants, gaming systems, and televisions. For starters, make a plan with a friend or two ahead of time. Maybe meet up for breakfast or visit a park. Leave your phone in the car and then out of your hands during this time. Instead of scrolling the news online, see if you can find a newspaper. Pick up a book and read a little. Visit the library if you haven't done so in a while. Work on a craft or a hobby that you haven't gotten to in a while. And perhaps before you log off on Thursday, consider posting #Global Day of Unplugging on your social media to help spread the word. And remember, unplugging is a practice. It's messy, it's personal, and it's revealing. It's not about getting it perfect the first time, but building up gradually. It may be a bit uncomfortable or challenging to completely unplug for a day. So do what you can and take that moment to notice. What am I feeling? What am I thinking about? Who is around me? How is this filling my cup? Something that you can do today is play a game. Gather a group and find a game to play together during coffee hour. And you could join us for our monthly game night with BUC's game group, which we are now going to start calling One Table, Many Players. We welcome all kinds of games, board games, trivia games, even classic pen and paper games. We've even played games remotely over Zoom. So unplugging doesn't necessarily mean that you have to completely reject technology. It just means that we can choose intentionally when and how we engage. Because the deepest connections, the ones that sustain us, are rarely curated. They're awkward and embodied and unscripted. They require patience. They require presence. Presence is an act of love. In a world that constantly competes for our attention, reclaiming it may be one of the most radical things that you can do. Let's take time each day and ask ourselves, what am I paying attention to?
It's a beautiful day outside. Last night we got a, a small reminder of what season we're still in. And given that, I'd like to share the words to this next song. When lonely feelings fill the meadows of your mind, just think, when winter comes, can spring be far behind? Beneath the deepest snows, the secret of a rose is that it merely knows you must believe in spring. Just as a tree is sure its leaves will reappear, It knows its emptiness is just the time of year. The frozen mountain dreams of April's melting streams. How crystal clear it seems. You must believe in spring. You must believe in love and trust it's on its way, just as a sleeping rose awaits the kiss of May. So in a world of snow, of things that come and go, where what you think you know, you can't be certain of, you must believe in spring and love.
We pay attention to what's going on inside us and around us because that's how we can truly show up in our own lives and in our world. Like any spiritual practice, paying attention requires something we might call discipline, commitment to return to it when we are distracted from it. Multitasking is not a spiritual practice. Multitasking is distracted living. We may think that multitasking helps us get things done, but as the author of a book titled Stolen Focus notes, multitasking is a myth. When we think we're multitasking, we're really switching back and forth between one thing and the other, and that switching comes with a cost to our actual performance and our creativity. The author uses the term cognitive degradation to describe what happens when we try to multitask, because our ability to do either thing suffers as we reset and refocus. Sometimes the interruption is the job, and it's necessary to shift our attention. Being open to shifting focus is actually monotasking, not multitasking. as we realize that our attention is needed elsewhere because of someone else's need or our own. And we refocus our attention where it's needed. Paying attention to the thing we're doing, to the person we're talking to the beauty around us, to the needs of the world. Lets us, maybe even forces us to respond to what's really going on. The hymn, "Wake Now My Senses," speaks of a call to all of us to be fully human. The hymn describes the spiritual practice of full engagement with the world in body, mind, and spirit. Fully awake and fully alive. I invite you now to rise and join in singing, "Wake Now My Senses."
Each week as we gather, we light a common chalice. We sing and celebrate. We pray and we think. Then we each gather strength from the flame and go out from here, taking the light with us.
May we live our lives fully and creatively so that we may be a blessing to ourselves, to each other, and to all those whose lives we touch. Please remain seated during the postlude.